Hello and welcome to episode 10 of the Brew Review as part of Food at the Trough. I am your host, Neal Getling. With me as always,
Eddie Dudek.
And with us today as a special guest appearance is our good friend and neighbor, Roybert Scheck.
That's his real name, Roybert.
Yep, it's on the birth certificate. I've seen the long form. So today we are debuting a new brewery that we have not reviewed before. It is Jolly Pumpkin. I always want to say Pumpkin Valley. It is Jolly Pumpkin. And today's brew is La Roja.
Yeah, so this is something I just drove up to Detroit, and I stopped at their cafe and brewery in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And I have to say, I immediately fell in love with this place. Like the brew pub itself, dude, come on. The brew pub itself was phenomenal. Their beers are excellent. They're actually a brewery specializing in sours, which is not something you really see. And so we decided to bring Roy on for this episode, A, because we've been trying to get him on, and B, because you're a sour fanatic, right?
I love sours.
There you go.
Sours are like the semen of my soul.
Would you call yourself a connoisseur?
Yes, I would, in fact. Very good.
All right, so Neal, tell us a little about La Roja.
La Roja, an artisan amber ale brewed in the Flanders tradition. Deep amber with earthy caramel, spice, and sour fruit notes developed through natural barrel aging. Unfiltered, unpasteurized, improperly spelled, and blended from barrels ranging to over a year in age. Truly an ale of grace and distinction.
So Roy, you might be able to help us with defining this beer. So it's an American wild ale, which basically means, American. It's an American beer,
beer, yes.
But they use that usually the wild ale is basically, or it's typically a Belgian style that uses wild yeast. Mm-hmm. So in the description though, they say something about Flanders, and so Flanders is typically. Is that typically sours?
Blemishes are your typical sours. Or
Okay.
They're the standard of sours. Flanders is a little bit north, I believe.
Oh, okay.
But
In
it's still
Finland?
the same.
I think so.
Did you say Flemish, sorry. It's a Finnish tradition.
Flanders is Belgium, I believe.
Belgian, that would make a lot more sense than Finland.
But that basically typically means just a sour?
Correctamundo.
Okay.
Cool.
Well, I think it's about 7.2%, so
Yes.
we're not going to be expecting any alcohol, flavor in it, right?
Well, you're going to be expecting some alcohol flavor. It is, in fact, alcoholic. However, these sours have a very, very strong initial reaction to your taste buds, so you won't get as much of that alcoholic taste because it's overpowered by the sourness of the...
This is why we bring on the sour specialist. Perfect.
The connoisseur.
I'm not going to say that word.
The sour.
Yeah, I prefer to be referred to as the connoisseur from now on.
There you go. All right. I think we should get right into it. Oh, Roy.
Oh.
This is getting awkward.
Performance anxiety. Oh, with the wedding ring. Impressive. Okay. You guys ready?
Yes.
Let's dive right in, boys.
It's awkward.
I didn't even get anything from Roy.
All right, so they talk about how it's a deep amber, right?
Yes.
And you definitely get that color, right, Roy? It's a dark amber color, very caramely, like you were saying.
Yep.
It's unfiltered. You can see the sediment on the bottom of the cup.
Does say it's earthy.
As well as the
Yeah, I've got a little too.
floating around there.
Definitely. It's actually pretty dark sediment. That's, I wonder what it is.
You can smell the sour. It smells really good.
Yeah, you could smell the sour right off the top of it. And when you taste it, you're going to get a little bready taste.
You do get a little bready. Wow, that's it's a really light sour flavor.
It's a very light sour flavor. The nose is misleading.
Yeah.
You would think by smelling it would be very powerful.
Right.
But in fact, when you're tasting it, it's more of a bread with a hint of, like, almost sourdough-ish.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Very good.
And it actually probably works better for the beer because it doesn't have, like, a lot of people can't get into the overwhelmingly sour beers. And, like, we happen to love them. Well, we do, but this might be more accessible to the average person just because it is way lighter in that respect.
It's a good starter sour beer, in fact. You wouldn't want to jump directly to a Rodenbach, per se, or one of the Goose Islands, sours. But this is a good light sour for people who aren't normally accustomed to sours to get into.
Right. So it's interesting. So it's only 7.2% alcohol, but the lightness of that sour doesn't mask it as I was expecting.
Okay.
So right after the sour taste goes away, there is a hit, and I don't know if it's just the flavor of the beer or the flavor of the alcohol coming through, but it's a strong hit of an entirely different flavor than the sour, and it's good. Like we were saying that we tasted the bready piece, I don't actually get a whole lot of bread.
Oh, see, I get a little bit, right? Yeah, right.
I don't know if it's because I'm kind of stuffed up this week or what, but I get a hit of a different sort of flavor that I can't really put my finger on after the sour. It's still excellent.
Yeah.
Kind of the middle of the tongue part.
So one of the big things that make this so good, like we had been alluding to the lightness of the sour flavor, but like you take a big sip and you immediately get a rush of the sour, on your tongue. And as you swallow it, it kind of like dies off a little bit and has a very crisp finish. Yeah. And I think that's the crisp finish is important.
You'll notice it's a very refreshing finish. The sour doesn't linger in your mouth.
Correct.
And it doesn't really get into your retronasal. But
retronasal, that's not. It's not a term we use here. No, I'm just kidding.
Not yet. So I actually get a powerful boost of sweetness right at the very end, and it's not lingering. It doesn't collect at the back of my throat or the top of my mouth, but it gives that nice finish to the end of every sip I take.
No.
It's not strong. It's not like a warty, sugary taste. It's just kind of a soury, sweet taste. It's very nice.
All right.
Almost appley.
It's almost opposite of normal sours that I have. Normal sours usually come on very fresh, and then they stick to the sour will stick in the back of your throat. This is kind of reverse. So the sourness comes on early and kind of tapers off into a nice bouquet of sugar and what I think is bread, but
I think I'm just the one that's off on that. I'm sure it's there.
Well, everyone's there. So I think we're ready to give it a rating, right,
yes.
guys? So Roy, guest star, we give it 2 thumbs up. I could drink this every day, all day. 1 thumb up is I love this beer and I would never hesitate to buy it. Middle of the road is I'm not upset that I had this, but I probably won't buy it. And then of course there's a thumbs down.
Yeah, I would say between 1 thumbs up and middle of the road.
Okay, pick one. Okay, Roy's giving it a thumbs up. Any particular reason?
The taste isn't very distinctive. It doesn't really hit you as something that you want to come again. It's not as refreshing as some of the other sours that I've had.
Okay.
Like the Dutch is easily one of the best in the world. But it does have a good taste, and it will be good paired with food. But as normal sipping, there are better sours out there that you can acquire.
So I'm going to give this a very solid 1 thumbs up. I actually disagree with Roy in the respect that I think this is a great sipping beer, great beer for drinking. I think I could drink this pretty often. I'm not going all day every day, but I could drink this pretty often, and I think that's actually different than most sours. I do like sours, but for me, the crisper finish is a very important part for me because I would prefer the taste to be on the front of my tongue and just be able to keep drinking it with a crisper finish.
I am also going to join the crew and give it 1 thumbs up. I think it's excellent. I think Roy had a really good point that it would be awesome paired with food. This would be a great one, especially a size of bottle like this.
Yeah.
It'd be a great one to have a bunch of people over, like put out kind of snacks that would pair well with it. Because the way it drinks, it almost drinks like a cider. That's how refreshing I feel this is. And that would pair very well with food. It would pair very well with guests. So definite thumbs up.
Okay, so the Brew review is giving it 3 thumbs up. Because it's solid beer. Very solid sour. It's a good starter for a sour if you're looking for one by La Roja by Jolly Pumpkin. So thanks for watching this episode of Food at the not Pumpkin Valley. This episode of Brew Review by Food at the Trough. We hope that you would check out our website and maybe leave a comment on YouTube. Thank you for watching, guys.
Thanks very much.
Cheers.